Well, I'm referring to the jihad against innocent civilians. There were numerous campaigns that ran in the United States, particularly in this city, the New York City subway systems, where I saw it, an anti-Israel campaign. That was the impetus, the catalyst behind my submitting our pro-Israel, pro-freedom ads.
Is it acceptable to use that word in such a blanket context?
Killing innocent civilians in the most savage way is indeed savagery. 7/7 in London was savagery. Mumbai, New York, and the Buddhists in Thailand, the Christians in Malaysia.
Qaseem Rasheed, that's quite a list there. Is it acceptable to use the word savage?
No, I don't think it is, because I think what it does is it polarizes and it creates a lot more hate and mistrust and fear and paranoia than what reality actually demonstrates. I belong to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. We've made it our lifelong mission to demonstrate through example that Islam is in fact a peaceful faith.
Pamela Geller, is it fair to lump someone like Qaseem Rasheed in with some of the people and some of the atrocities that you've listed?
This ad has nothing to do with Qaseem Rasheed, nothing at all. I would assume that moderate and peaceful Muslims would be standing with me against the violent jihad.
Qaseem Rasheed, is this an important distinction, and one which perhaps is something that may be important to people like you, to moderate Muslims?
Well, I think the assertion that jihad is holy war, again, is a complete fabrication. The Quran is explicitly clear that every person has a goal which dominates him. So vie, struggle with one another in good works. We would invite people, rather than spew vitriol, falsehood, and really fear-mongering, to join us.
Pamela Geller, in the current environment, we've seen the sort of anger over this amateur film and so on across the Muslim world. Is there a danger that you're simply adding fuel to the fire?
What is a good time? I mean, there were no cartoons, there were no teddy bears named Muhammad, there were no YouTube clips in 1993 when the World Trade Center was bombed, and 2001 when hundreds of people were forced to jump to their deaths because of the heat. And then subsequently, were the Danish cartoons, was that a good time in 2005? I mean, when is a good time? We have to be able to talk about these things in an honest and clear way.
If I can quote a tweet back at you then in the attempt to open up a dialogue. Somebody's tweeted in response to the advert, in New York City we speak 140 languages and hate isn't one of them.
I am not a hater. I am a lover. And I am a human rights activist dedicated to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom from religion, and individual rights. Individual rights for all. Equality of rights for all under the law. It's not saying Muslims in the ad. It's not saying Islam. It is saying jihad. Jihad against innocent civilians. So why isn't Mr. Qaseem standing with me to defeat the Islamic supremacists that seek to install a universal caliphate across the world?
Qaseem Rasheed?
Well, first of all, I think it's easy to throw out numbers like 270 million killed or cite terrorist attacks. The fact of the matter is that even the FBI reports that there have been more terrorist attacks on American soil, 94% in fact, over the last 25 years have been by non-Muslims. So to take what 6% of unfortunate individuals have done and then brand that across 1.6 billion Muslims as propaganda at best, hate more likely.
Would you be willing to enter a dialogue with Pamela Geller?
As a matter of fact, Ms. Geller is well aware that we have invited her repeatedly to enter into a dialogue, and we're waiting for her response, and we're eager for that public dialogue because we want the people to understand exactly what Islam stands for. Islam stands for freedom of speech.
Pamela Geller.
This is absolutely untrue. Now we're going to go into a fictional narrative. That absolutely never happened. That's patently untrue. I would work with Muslims that would against jihad every day.
Okay. Well, you've had the invitation. Will you now? Qaseem Rasheed is up for it seems.
Oh, okay. Qaseem, my email is Pamela Geller.
I'm well aware of your email. I'm from the Muslim Sunrise. You can go to muslimsunrise.org. Our organization invited her, along with several other anti-Islam personalities, to an open discussion. And, we're happy to have that discussion in the proper time and place.
More defamation. It's not anti-Islam. We are counter-jihad. I don't care if you worship a stone. Just don't stone me with it. It's not the religious aspect. It's the political aspect. It's the imposition of the blasphemy laws under the Sharia, under the guise
of... And the fact of the matter is that our community has been leading the world for over 100 years to condemn extremism, to condemn violence, and we've done it without hate. We've done it without creating violence.
Pamela Geller, what would be your sense of success from this poster?
to open a dialogue, which we have. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. The people in the West and free countries need to know that what this hate speech, guys, is the imposition of the blasphemy laws under the Sharia, that you cannot criticize Islam. And that's what all of this is about. It's coming in this package of hate speech, but I warn you not to buy it, because where will you draw the line?
Qaseem Rasheed, what is your response to this ad, and what is your concluding thought about it?
To take a small percentage of extremists and to brand them across the Muslim community is against the tenets of truth and justice and causes more hatred, causes more violence than it stops.